Hi everyone, Major here, and welcome back to Steel Division. And while I was just surfing through Steam, I noticed there were a few mods available. So I downloaded a mod which included this 4th Canadian Armoured. There's 3 others that are also available. There's the 4th Infantry, or the Ivy Division, which was involved in the fighting at Utah Beach, which relieved the 82nd Airborne at St. Mare Anglaise. And then there's 2 Axis divisions, 85th Infantry and 1st SS Panzer. 9th SS Panzer. Interesting enough, the 85th Infantry uh, is full of Tiger tanks. Go figure. But well, we'll get to that in a different video. So the emphasis today is the 4th Canadian, and we'll start off. I'm going to do it a bit different. I'm going to start with the aircraft first. So yeah, I could have some Osters for reconnaissance, but I know from having a look at the cards and the units available that you can have quite a powerful reconnaissance deck within this unit. So I'm going to concentrate mainly on the aircraft. So we can get the Spitfires. We've got the 2 cannons, 2 20mm cannons, 2 12.7 machine guns. Nice speed, good optics. Not very resilient though. But so in phase B we'll get 2 Spitfire, 2 groups of Spitfires. Actually no, we'll go 1. That will allow me in phase C to get a couple of squads of Mosquitoes, each one with 4 230 kilogram bombs, which ought to rate havoc on the enemy. Artillery, yep, in phase A we can get the old 2-inch mortar with only a range of 700 mil, and really the HE factor is only 4, so you might be better off putting a heavy machine gun out rather than the mortar. Mortar range of 700. I think the machine gun is at 600. Let's have a look. Where are we? Yeah, Vickers, range of 600. So way better than the mortar. And you look at the HE factor, 6, as against the 2-inch mortar, a HE factor of 4. Yep, it can put down smoke, but you can probably achieve more with the greater range of the 3-inch mortar. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's get rid of the Vickers. So we'll get a couple of 3-inch mortars, or 3 to be precise. We can also, in phase B, go for the 4.2 inch, which I think from memory is around about the 107 mil in metric. Once again, the HE factor is up at 16, range of 1600 meters. When you compare that to the 3-inch mortar, the HE factor is higher, the range is far better, gives a bit more, what's the word, flexibility to try and get away from counter battery fire. So we might, will I go for one of those? I'm not sure. We've got a lot of priests in phase C. We can get veterancy, 2-star veterancy priests. HE factor of 15, but then the range is so much longer as well. It's an extra 800 meters compared to the 4.2 inch mortar. And then when you compare that to the 3-inch mortar, it's twice the range. And if you then compare that to the 2-inch mortar, it's 3 and a bit times the range. So phase A will get 3 3-inch mortars. Phase B will get a couple of priests. Off-map artillery, handy. Only a HE factor of 12. Now that's somewhat surprising. You compare that to the priest, HE factor of 15. So are we better off having the priests, where we also have some flexibility, enabling they're enabled to move around, so they can probably fire and scoot, so they don't have to worry so much about counter battery fire. So we'll get 6 of those. So now that we've got a lot of artillery, let's go to support. We're definitely going to need some Bedfords and more in phase B and in phase C. But I would like to get some wasps. Flamethrowers, range of 260 with a HE factor of 12. Might be very, very handy in urban built-up areas or in heavily wooded areas. So phase A, we can get 3 of those. We'll get those. Now we'll go back to anti-air. So we've got the choice of the Staghounds with the 12.7mm and also the 7.62. Not great HE factors, and also range is down. If we go to the Crusader, range is consistently 800 metres with a HE factor of 11. So in phase A we can get 2, or we can wait to phase B and get 2 of them. But also notice we've got the Bofors, 1000 metres range, HE factor of 10, compared to the Crusaders 800 metre HE factor of 11. So we might get a mixture of the two. Phase A will get some Staghounds just so we can get some AA out and about the map. Anti-tank, we'll definitely need some Piats, some 6-pounders. And in phase B we can also bring in Wolverines. So we'll get one of those, or one card of those. I do like the 17-pounders, but I don't like their lack of mobility. Like the Wolverine, AP factor of 13, HE of 3, range of 1200. We look at the Achilles, AP factor of 16, HE has dropped to 2, and also a range of 12. Armour is very similar, but we've got a lot more hitting power by nearly, 10, 20% more hitting power with armour at the same range. Now you compare that to the 17-pounder. Yep, 16 AP factor, range of 1200. Compared to that to the Achilles. Yep, almost identical. We don't want to see that. We want to see that. Thank you. Oh, why is it doing that? But the AP factor of the 17-pounder, the same as the Achilles, but the Achilles is mobile. It is also protected from counter battery or artillery fire, and is certainly a lot more mobile. So you can, once again, scoot and shoot. So in phase C, we'll get 2 Achilles. Support we've done, got a lot of artillery, so we need a lot of lorries to feed the beans and bullets that they'll need. And being an armoured division, we will have a lot of tanks. But first of all, we might just do the recon. And here's where we can either get the scouts. Okay, optics very high. Stealth is very good. But no real hitting power. Now, if they do come across an enemy and they're spotted, even if I put them on return fire only, with the 2 9mm, I think what kind of guns are they? Are they Stens? Okay, they are Stens. So with 2 Stens, you get a HE factor of 6. With 2 Lee Enfields, you get a HE factor of 1. So not a lot of hitting power. So I'm going to go for 2 groups of Stuart Honeys. And I'm also going to get 1 Sherman 5. Look at the Sherman 5, AP factor 11, which is standard for the 75mm gun. But look at the armour, 11 and 6 for the front and sides. Nice. That will be able to put up a bit of a fight. So we go back to the armour. So in phase B, phase A, we can't get any tanks in. So phase B, let's get some Stuart Honeys. Support the infantry. Okay, they're not going to be much good against any armour, but they are very good in the infantry support. Sherman 3s, now we're getting up, got some decent armoured protection on the front, so we'll get a couple of Sherman 3s in. And we can also get a command Firefly, because out of those 3 cards of armoured units, we have no command, so we need a command unit. In phase C, we could also, let's drop one of the Sherman 3s and let's put in a couple of Fireflies. Yeah, their armour is similar, but they've got a lot more hitting power, nearly 50% more hitting power. So phase C, we can get another Command Firefly, another 3 Fireflies, and I suppose we're going to have to settle. Don't want another Command Firefly in phase C, I want units. Sherman 5s, 11 and 6, the Firefly, 11 and 6, the only difference is their operational effectiveness of their armor penetration. So you got 11 for the Sherman 5 and 16 for the Firefly. But we only get the 1 Firefly, but we can get the 5 Sherman 5s. And there is 4 Shermans, there is safety in numbers. So we'll go to the 5. And now we're back down to the infantry. So remembering in anti-tank, we've also got some cards of pits, which is going to help our infantry anti-tank capability. Motorized rifles, look at that, they have got pits. And they've got a couple of stands with rifles and a Bren gun. All very handy. So we'll get a couple of the motorized rifles. Assault Pioneers, got the flamethrower, very handy. And then we've got 3 rifle leaders. So we'll get those. The rifle leaders also, no, they don't have the P at this time. Well, there's a change. So in phase B, we just got the rifles. So now they have no P-its. So we've got any more motorized rifles? Not till phase C. Now, is that going to be a bit of a... Better get some machine guns as well, the Vickers. So phase C, we'll go the motorized rifles, the leader. And we can get 8 motorized rifles in phase C. And that... So we've got 5, 10, Pioneers, 14, 22 squads, if you want to call it that, supported by 4 squads of Vickers machine guns, and we've got 7 rifle leaders. So we can have, there's no excuse for not having units command and controlled by their rifle leader. Alright, so we've got 1 unit left. We can fill in another unit. Infantry's full as a goog. Tanks, I'm pretty happy with the amount of tanks we've got, although Sherman 3, what's the armour on that? 10 and 4 when compared to where's the Sherman 5? There we go. 11 and 6 compared to 5 and 3. So given we're in phase B, might we get rid of the Stuarts and we might put in the Sherman 3s in their place. 10 and 4 better than 5 and 3. 37mm cannon with AP of 7 as against AP factor of 11 and armor of 10 and 4. Stealth is really bad, but they're a tank. Not many tanks are stealthy. Support, yep, we've filled up that deck. Anti-tank, we've filled up. Anti-aircraft, we've not filled up. Artillery is full. Aircraft is full. So it's either recon, we add more weight to, or anti-aircraft. So the Crusader anti-aircraft, that might be handy also with supporting the infantry if we find Germans in the open. Or do we just load up further our reconnaissance? Do we get some scouts? Yeah, we will. All right. So there you go. There's the deck. I think it's fairly well balanced. Really heavy in phase C. So I suppose the way you would play this is grab your territory in A, try hold on for grim death, reinforce it in B, and then bring in a lot of your heavies through phase C. So in phase C we have 4 squad leaders, 8 motorised rifles. We have a command Firefly. We have 3 additional Fireflies, 5 Sherman 5s. Support, we've got an extra 3 Bedfords for the supply of our artillery. Anti-tank, 2 Achilles in Phase C. No anti-air in Phase C. No artillery in Phase C. And in Phase C, we get 4 Mosquitoes, each carrying 4 230 kilogram bombs. So there you go. I'm going to hit the save button. Let's go back. That's what the squad, that's what the battle group looks like. Low on anti-aircraft, but plenty of units there to support the troops on the ground. Sufficient anti-tank, lots of tanks themselves, lots of infantry to support the vehicles, or vice versa, depending on how you play. I am very infantry focused. I use my tanks to support the infantry, and then when the armor does penetrate, have the infantry with the artillery support the tanks moving forward. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me some feedback, your thoughts on how the deck might look depending on how you play. But until next time, it's the Major out. Bye bye.